Believe it or not, it's already summer. You've probably been having too much fun in the bullet hell madness of Saros to notice. Maybe you've been racing the streets of Japan in Forza Horizon 6, or playing as a blocky Cape Crusader in LEGO Batman. Perhaps you've been laser focused on 007 First Light that dropped this week, but we don't care about any of that because it's old news. Let me turn your attention towards June. It's showcase season, and with that will naturally come more release dates and brand new games. Therefore, this following list could drastically change in the coming weeks. But for now, these are all the confirmed games coming in June that I think you should keep your eye on. As I always say in these videos, this isn't everything coming in the month, but the ones I think are most notable. If you enjoy this content, please leave a like, subscribe and share with your friends. If you don't like it, then leave a thumbs down and let me know how I can be better for you. With the housekeeping out of the way, let's jump right into it. Hot off the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake on Switch 2 and Xbox back in January of this year, Rebirth is coming to both platforms in June. This is the second of the trilogy of remakes of one of Square Enix's most beloved titles. Join Cloud, Tifa, Barret and Aerith amongst other new allies as they travel out of Midgard and out into the wider country in this huge open world JRPG. What I love most about these remakes, outside of the obvious visual masterpieces they have become, is the revamped combat system. It's real-time action mixed in with a touch of turn-based, and it's incredibly fun to interact with. This one is stuffed full of content, whether that be the excellent main story or the plethora of mini-games and side quests. You'll also experience one of the most beautiful soundtracks in gaming. If you've not played this yet on PlayStation or PC, then now is the perfect time, as I have an inkling we may see the announcement of the third part this showcase season. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes to Xbox Series and Switch 2 on June 3rd. NBA The Run is an online basketball game that is reminiscent of the NBA Street games. You compete in 3v3 online tournaments across a wide range of streetball courts, some of which are replicas of real life. You can either play 3v3 and control a single player on a team, or play solos where you can control all three players. Expect wild supernatural dunks and alley-oops, as well as literal ankle-breaking skills. This is an offshoot studio of the EA Sports games, but it has still managed to get the NBA license. It launches with 30 plus highly crafted players, each with their own abilities for you to experiment with. Some of these even have their rookie variants like 09 Steph Curry, 07 Kevin Durant and 03 LeBron. The online is powered by true rollback netcode to reduce the possibility of lags and stutters. The developers have expressed a want to not have microtransactions, so the in-game currency called cred can only be earned inside the game by participating in tournaments. These arcadey sports games have always resonated with me more than their realistic sim counterparts, and I love the visual style they have gone for in this game. Microtransactions are also what have ruined modern sports games, so to hear there will be a lack of them here is a huge appeal. NBA The Run launches on June 9th for PS5, Xbox Series and PC. The indie game that slammed onto our screens during Gamescom last year was Denshattack. This demanded attention with its over-the-top anime art style and the fact that you play as a train carriage that you can seemingly move like a skateboard. You grind along the tracks, being able to execute jumps and flip tricks that brings up a scoring system similar to that of a Tony Hawk game. It's on rails, quite literally, and you will simultaneously be avoiding obstacles in a style reminiscent of Subway Surfer. It's an arcadey feeling game that is beautiful with its colors and animations. This fast-paced visual barrage translates perfectly into boss fights. The developers' undercoders showcased in their reveal trailer some pretty crazy over-the-top mech encounters which I can't wait to try. This colorful, single-player, quite frankly unique title set in a dystopian Japan has a demo up now on Steam and Nintendo Switch 2 if you want to give it a try ahead of release. Denshattack releases on June 17th for PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2 and PC. 3 years after its release, Dave the Diver is getting a large story expansion with In the Jungle. The developers have said this expansion will have around 10 hours of story content. In the Jungle plays differently from the base game. You can freely roam the island as Dave and mine resources and collect fruit, or adventure into the wild and partake in several minigames. In the trailers and dev diary we saw things like Duck Hunt and Guitar Hero. The clock runs in real time, so you can spend your day doing different things at different times of day. There is still the main diving element though, and Dave ventures into the freshwater lakes of the jungle. This time he is equipped with the jungle gun rather than the harpoon, which can be swapped on the fly into different weapon types for more versatile combat. One of the things that I remember most about the base game were the grand boss fights, and the DLC is confirmed to have brand new ones. As this is freshwater, the fish have to be cooked, so the sushi restaurant is now a grill, but that super fun cooking and serving restaurant manager is still in the game. This was one of my favourite games in 2023, which was already an incredibly packed year. I will be keeping my eye on this one when Dave the Diver in the Jungle drops on June 18th for Xbox Series, PS4 and 5, PC and Switch 1 and 2. Square Enix love their HD 2D pixel art RPGs, some could argue that they've even mastered it. What makes the Adventures of Elliot different from titles like Octopath Traveler or Dragon Quest is that this is an action RPG. What this means is that the combat is in real time rather than turn-based. This game was revealed last year and spawned a demo on Switch 2 which I played through 3 times and loved. Set in the hilariously named country of Philadelphia, we take on the role of Elliot, an adventurer who is accompanied by a fairy companion Faye. This epic quest spans both space and time, but what felt best to me was the gameplay. You can actively use your weapons as I mentioned in the overworld, you can freely jump, which is a first. Faye has special abilities like a dash and teleport, and you can even parry with your shield. The boss fights were tough but felt great, almost like a HD 2D FromSoft boss but without the super high difficulty. This one could have the trappings of something like a Link's Awakening, especially if it can pull off its story. The Adventures of Elliot the Millennium Tales, which by the way is an awful name, releases on June 18th for Xbox Series, PS5, Switch 2 and PC. EA's upcoming UFC 6 looks incredibly realistic. The MMA fighter has had a lot of work done to it since the last iteration, with over 1,000 new animations in order to capture the real movements of the athletes. This realism extends to hit detection, allowing you to see damage in real time in the correct locations, as well as all fighters becoming more anatomically correct. What this means is you'll be able to utilize a fighter that has longer reach in both punches and kicks. UFC 6 is advertising that it was built for the fighters by the fighters, and because of this there are additional fighting styles in both offense and defense to replicate the styles in real life. Part of this is the brand new feature called Flow State. This is EA's attempt to capture this realism further. If you build momentum by utilizing your selected character's fighting style, rhythm, and signature moves, which are all based on their real life counterparts, then you can enter this flow state. There are 3 layers. The base effect, which offers various passive bonuses, flow boosts that accelerates your chosen fighter's fighting style, and flow state, which is when everything peaks and you can provide a finisher and/or turn the balance of a fight. Given that UFC 6 is a traditional one-on-one fighting game, I'm interested to see how this works in practice, especially on the competitive level, as it seems like a pretty big bonus. I'm sure the community will be vocal if it's broken. UFC 6 launches on June 19th for PS5 and Xbox Series. A dormant franchise is making a return after his recent appearance in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Fox McCloud and his team return in Star Fox, which is a remake of the Star Fox 64 game from the N64. This on-rail shooter has gone through a process of graphical upscaling, and it has changed the original art style to bring it into the modern day. The most noticeable change is the character style, which makes each of the characters look realistic as opposed to their original puppet formats. In the game itself, you will pilot the main ship called the R-Wing, as well as a land vehicle and an underwater vehicle. The campaign is designed to be played multiple times, as finding different paths leads to having a different route through the system, with alternate bosses and planets. Nintendo stated that the campaign will feature all new cutscenes in between stages for character development, which I imagine will naturally make the game longer. There is also a challenge mode added where you can replay stages with additional objectives thrown in. The multiplayer mode are 4v4 dogfights where you can choose one of the 3 battle modes to compete in. Like a lot of the new releases, Star Fox utilizes some of the Switch 2's new systems like mouse control and game share with up to 4 people. Star Fox actually looks like a solid remake, so check it out whether you've played the original or not when it releases on June 25th for the Nintendo Switch 2. Dead or Alive 6 Last Round is the definitive release for the 30-year-old fighting franchise. How this version differs from the original 2019 release is combining the 24 original characters and the 5 characters from the DLC. There are 5 added costumes inspired by some of Team Ninja's other properties like Ninja Gaiden 3 and Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation. The developers have also added a dedicated photo mode for the first time, which allows manipulation of character position and pose selections. If you own the original standard edition of the game, you can bring any of your DLC costumes, premium tickets, and save data over to this version. Team Ninja has confirmed that this definitive release has been updated for the current generation of systems, which also improves the gameplay. Releasing simultaneously is the free-to-play edition titled Dead or Alive 6 Last Round Core Fighters. Core Fighters will have Marie Rose, Honoka, and Nico fighters available on launch, a photo mode, and 2 online modes, Quest and Central. More content will be added further down the line. Dead or Alive 6 Last Round and Dead or Alive 6 Last Round Core Fighters releases on June 25th for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. That's everything I think is notable in June currently, but as I said at the top, there is a high possibility that there will be more revealed at the summer showcases next week. Speaking of those showcases, keep yourself here on my channel as I will give you informed breakdowns of each of the major showcases from PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and Summer Games Fest itself promptly after each event. If you're interested, you can check out my other stuff like my recently uploaded reviews of Pragmata, Mixtape, and Mouse BI for Hire. If you like this content, please leave a like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you didn't like it, then leave a thumbs down and I will try to be better next time. Let me know in the comments below what you are most looking forward to in June, and for everything else, Casual Gamer, keep it here. Peace and love.